Country music doesn't only create singing greats, it can also turn disc jockeys into legends. But one of today's most popular announcers is winning over country fans while defying expectations. Jan Crawford is in Washington. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning, Charlie, Nora, Gail. All right, I don't know how much country radio y'all have listened to, but I am willing to bet you have never heard anything like Bobby Bones. Even his name doesn't sound country, but he's very much a reflection of where country music is today, and his show is sweeping the country after a little resistance starting off.
Kelly Pickler, everybody. Clap your hands. Kelly, come in.
His show attracts some of the biggest stars in country music. But what is it about Bobby that's different? I mean, he's not like your daddy's DJ.
Yeah, I think he's so funny. I think he's so quick-witted too. He'll always kind of say what you're thinking.
He's polarizing. He's not for everybody. I mean, I'm sure like my mom was listening, she wouldn't get it and would hate it.
But it's so fast. If you get it, it's really hilarious.
Less than a year after the Bobby Bones show debuted on country radio, a lot of people are getting it. Bones and his gang of friends, literally they are his old friends he put on his show, have skyrocketed from 15 markets to 50 across the nation. And here in the hometown of country music, Bones now has the #1 show. Do you own a cowboy hat?
I don't own a cowboy hat. I don't own a belt buckle. You know, I don't have boots, but I grew up in Arkansas.
You don't have cowboy boots?
I don't have cowboy boots.
When his company moved him from a top 40 station in Austin to replace legendary country DJ Jerry House, there were skeptics.
So it wasn't just one city that didn't like us. It was a whole lot of cities that didn't like us.
What did you hear?
You're terrible. You're not country. You don't sound like a DJ.
What's a country music DJ sound like?
Well, they have deep voices and they sound like this, and you know, and that's what people have grown accustomed to and people like. And so we were just a complete 180.
But with his quirky mix of intensely personal revelations.
You know, so I've been going to a therapist, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or so, maybe longer.
Longer than that.
And unscripted interviews with country stars.
I've got death threats on Twitter before that had to be, I had a guy tell me what day he was going to come shoot me.
That is so ineffective on his part.
Right. Right. That's what I said too. Well, thanks for the heads up.
It's clear this is what people like.
Country music listeners really like genuineness, and I hope that's what we portray, and I think that's what we do.
Bobby Bones with iHeartRadio and Darius Rucker.
Just ask Darius Rucker. You may know him from Hootie and the Blowfish. He knows a thing or two about crossing over from rock to country.
I think it shows how really open country music is to everything. You know, he's probably I wouldn't say anti-old school, he's just so different than all the old school.
The funny thing is, Bobby Bones is country, and his life is a lot like an old country song, with a lot of loss and struggle.
I was a food stamp welfare kid from Arkansas. My dad was never around, and my mom had me when she was 15. My grandmother raised me and adopted me for a while.
His mother died recently in her early 40s, complications from a lifetime of substance abuse. That's one reason he says he's never had a drink. He was the first person in his family to graduate from high school and go to college.
You know, it's that the Arkansas stereotype we talk about. So that was me, but you know, I think it's really made me who I am.
How so?
Because I think funny comes from tragedy and time. And I think that's where I get it. I'm able to, you know, take things that are serious and sad and turn it into funny. And I think a little bit, honestly, I think this is after a lot of therapy. I think that, you know, I need love from something. And so now I find it, you know, through performing.
Now, having listened to a lot of Bobby Bones' shows, I mean, it is just clear that he is extremely talented. And his company, Clear Channel, that moved him over from pop to country, believes that he's got the potential to be the next national talent with real crossover appeal into television. But when you talk to Bobby, I mean, it's clear that he sees nothing as being permanent, that it could all be gone tomorrow. And he said that's really what drives him to keep pushing himself to the next thing. Charlie, Nora, Gail.
All right, Jan. Gosh, I'm embarrassed to say I never heard of Bobby Bones until Jan, you introduced us. I like him.
I know. So what channel are you listening to him on, Jan, in D.C.?
Sadly, he is not on in D.C. yet. I mean, so we don't have him on the country radio here, which, of course, you know I listen to in the car every morning, Nora, going to carpool. But you know, that's the thing. He's picking up new stations across the country every week.
You must find him. Thank you, Jan.
Thanks, Jan.
Aren't you thinking, I need to talk to him, Charlie Rose? He'd be good on the Charlie Rose show.
5 notes here.
Yeah, I see a booking coming. Bobby Bones, bravo.